chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, right here on Nooga Radio.
If you want to discover the real hope for your life through inspirational music, relevant messages, and testimonies from others who have already found hope, then we encourage you to visit the second annual My Hope Conference, October 7th through 9th at Hickson First Baptist Church. Free admission and childcare is provided for kids up to pre-K, while those in kindergarten through 5th grade will attend the Kids Hope Rally. For more info, visit myhopeconference.com or call Hickson First Baptist Church at 423-877-2467.
Nooga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with?
Eric.
You're our winner.
Really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup races.
Holy cow.
In addition, you'll receive a 2-night stay at the Microtel Hotel and restaurant accommodations at 2 area restaurants.
Nooga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Nooga Radio.
92.7.
Your NASCAR racing station. Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio. 92.7.
There goes the neighborhood. There goes the neighborhood.
Good morning. We've got you covered radio on Nooga Radio 92.7. I'm Scott Schrader. I'm your host from Chattanooga Roofing Contractors. Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, 423-800-7752. We've got a special report today. We'd like to doing something every quarter we're going to call the rip-off report, and basically just be able to protect you, the homeowner, and the customer, and how to avoid getting taken by scams, by ripoffs, whether it's by contractors, insurance companies, or even your own state representatives who might not have your best interest at heart. Join us in the studio today is Arron Welch. We're going to talk to him here in a little bit. He is the CEO and founder of Whirly, and he has come up with a app and a way to basically help homeowners connect with other people and give referrals and not just reviews to be able to help you find the people that you need to basically get the job done and get the job done right.
It actually works in both directions. So we got a long conversation about what the cool stuff that we do.
Yep. So before we get into that, I wanted to discuss a couple things with you guys. Remember, if you have any questions or any comments, you can give us a call in the studio, 423-800-8949. That's 423-800-8949. That's our studio line. Or you can reach us on Facebook Live. Send us a question. We've got Dylan the Face Massengill here in the back, basically making sure that we keep track of all that and we can answer your questions. So, first, what we want to get into is we want to talk about Senate Bill 2337. That's the Pawnbrokers Restoration Act. Now, why is that important? Well, I've here recently gotten quite a few tools and equipment stolen by some people, and I was not aware of the Pawnbrokers Restoration Act. But as doing a little bit more research into it, this was a bill that was passed in 2016. That allows pawnbrokers to force, or at least try to force, the victims of theft into negotiating. You can read that as pay the pawnbrokers for giving you your stuff back when you have proof that it was actually stolen from you. Now, before 2016, you were able to, if you had proof and documentation, you could go to the pawnbroker and they had to release the things that were stolen back to you. Now, in the Pawnbrokers Restoration Act, they can take stolen property and try to strong arm you into buying that property back. Now, there are some other recourses that you can keep going through, but it's going to take you a lot more time, could take you some money, definitely some time spending in court, which nobody wants to do. But so now you've got to go through all this to be able to get your stuff back that you were stolen. So not only are you victimized by the people that that actually took the tools and property from you, but now you get the opportunity to be victimized by the pawnbrokers themselves. Now, who do you have to thank for this wonderful bill that was passed in the state Senate? Well, you might think that it might have been Republicans that passed this law, or it might have been Democrats that passed this law. And, we know that when Republicans pass a bill that the Democrats are going to get screwed. And we know that when the Democrats pass a bill, the Republicans are going to get screwed. But when they all work together and unanimously pass a bill, then everybody gets screwed. So what happened was they passed Senate Bill 2337, and the House passed their own version of it. But we have a local state senator who actually did not sponsor the bill. The sponsor was Senator Randy McNally. But our local senator, Senator Todd Gardenhire, actually went out and sold you out to the pawnbrokers union. I mean, excuse me, not the union, the pawnbrokers lobbying group. Now, I know you as an individual don't really have the money or have a group of people together that have a lobbying group that can actually go in and influence the way the state senators pass bills. But let me tell you something. The pawnbrokers have a incredible lobbying group, and they get a lot of stuff done. And the main thing that they did during this bill was to make sure that they could victimize you a second time. Now, should pawnbrokers be able to recoup their losses? Absolutely. Should people, say maybe who had a child steal something from them and they go back and get their property back, should they be forced to testify so that the pawnbroker can get their stuff back? Yes. But should they be able to just victimize you, the actual person who was victimized in the first place? Probably not. And, there are some reputable pawnbrokers out there, but at the same time, there are a lot of them out there that work as basically fencing operations to be able to make profit off stolen merchandise. And we're having an issue with a pawnbroker over on Lee Highway that's doing the same thing. So if you're interested in finding out any more about that, follow us on our Facebook page for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors. We'll put some more information out there. But if any of you have any comments, any questions about this act and how it affects you, feel free to send in any questions or comments. Also, make sure that you give the illustrious Senator Todd Gardenhire a call and make sure that you tell him how much you appreciate him selling you out to the pawnbrokers lobby. So that would be a great thing to contact him about next week. And we'll be following up on this too. We'll see if we can get Senator Gardenhire to come on and explain to us why this is in the public interest, to make sure that you can get ripped off a second time. So now that we're done with that, we're going to discuss a little bit about home referrals. And, there's a big push right now amongst some pretty large companies that are going out there and they're advertising about the best way to get a referral, the best way to find a contractor is to go through them. So Arron, what can you tell us about this industry and what do you know about these referral groups?
Okay, so our company started 2 years ago, and we were trying to figure out what it is we wanted to do. And so as we kept going through it, we kept seeing Angie's lists keep coming up over and over again of both, some good experiences, some bad experiences. And we started kind of expanding on that industry. And one of the things that we found through our research is that small businesses have a whole lot of pain points as they go through their day, whether it's, collecting any open accounts that they have, whether it's finding new customers, whether it's just keeping track of their time. We had a whole lot of experiences trying to find tree services that would actually show up and even give quotes. Like it takes a week to get a quote sometimes in Tennessee, especially in Chattanooga, for a contractor to come out and just look. And so we were like, well, this is a big problem. And so we started looking at the industry as a whole, look at pricing models, kind of how the market felt about each one. And we were like, good Lord, there is a lot of animosity towards these companies in kind of both directions. And so people have traditionally, talked to each other about who do you use. But now it's gotten so big and we're so digitally connected. There's these other places where people go and they start investing their trust based on reviews. So we've kind of stopped talking to each other and we started relying on reviews, which is where Angie's List started popping up. Home Advisor, you've got Tackle, you've got TaskRabbit. You've got all these companies that are stepping in the middle to broker and negotiate between you and a contractor. And you never really get like the real truth of what that relationship is going to be until you're too far into it to back out.
And you mentioned all these companies. Now, what used to be a myriad of companies that were out there are basically now just one or two companies. The list group and also the advisor group, they both now are owned by the same.
They are the same company.
They are the same company. So when you think that you have a choice to be able to do this, you're dealing with the exact same company, correct?
And so from kind of taking this up a level, if we start looking at industries that have started consolidating because people see that there is a financial incentive to do so, like Match.com and Plenty of Fish and all these other Christian Mingle, we don't necessarily realize that's all one company. Like Interactive Corp has bought all of those. So in this home services industry, if you've got a lot of companies doing the same thing and they get little slivers of different market placement, it just makes good business sense to start taking those companies and consolidating them, which is what Home Advisor did when they bought Angie's List.
Right.
So now we're taking all of this extraneous effort that these businesses take on, and of course the costs associated with that, and we condense and consolidate. And now everyone thinks they have, the illusion of choice, but you're actually getting kind of the same experience no matter which company you go with. You're just, checking off a little different digital storefront.
Right. So it's better for these companies, but for the actual customer, it's not a better option for them because they're basically forced to go into one transaction no matter who they use.
Yeah, you're going to get the same customer service experience. So one of the things that we started off looking at is how do we differentiate the customer service experience? This is startup number 5 for me. Mm-hmm. And so as I've gone through this, I've learned a couple things. One of which is customer service is key. And so we started looking at customer service feedback on both sides. Angie's List, Home Advisor, Tackle, all those places are marketplaces. They're not just a listing company. They actually exist to derive money from both sides of the equation. And so we looked at how they treated their contractors and how they billed their contractors and how they provided support for contractors and as well as consumers. Because when a consumer leaves a review, the contractor's got an opportunity to go and address that. But did you know that some of these companies actually charge them for that?
Yes.
And so how am I as a business going to maintain a honest kind of value within my community if I've got these people that are coming from outside who have no vested interest in seeing me succeed, taking over communications between me and a customer who had a bad experience?
And that's one thing that you talk about, taking over communication. I know one of these companies, if you have a complaint, they actually charge you for customer service. You pay for the service, they will bill you, and if they bill you erroneously or anything like that, you have to pay them to be able to talk to a customer service professional to be able to have that righted. Now you as a customer might think, well, that's no big deal. That's on the contractor. I don't have to pay for it. It's a free service for me. There's no such thing as a free service. You're going to pay for it one way or the other. It's in that contractor's price. So if you've got someone who, say, Home Advisor is sending, say on a roofing lead, Home Advisor charges $70. And if they're sending out 10 leads, 9 of those might be erroneous leads. They're not in the market. They're not somebody that was interested in getting the work done. Or, as we've heard a lot of customers talk about, I just wanted a price, and now I'm being bombarded by so many different contractors out there that I'm so fed up, I won't even answer my phone for the next 2 weeks.
Exactly. And there's a lot of, it's not just the home services industry. There's other industries that actually that's the case as well. Like once the cat is out of the bag, once a customer has given their information to a business.
Oh, you're in the sides. Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness, the flood just starts to come.
Yeah. So when they're dealing with that, these customers think that, well, it doesn't cost me anything. Well, as a contractor, if you're having to pay for every single one of those, and say it's $70 a lead and they get 10 leads in a week, that's an extra $700 that they have to put into their cost of doing business. And therefore you're going to pay it too. You know, it's like people that talk about wanting to increase corporate taxes. Corporations do not pay taxes. Corporations collect taxes from you and pass it on to the government. You know, that's the way it works. If it takes $1 to create, to produce a loaf of bread, and then the taxes on it are 10 cents, you're going to pay at least $1.10 plus the profit that they want to make. You know, that the business is in business to make money, and there's a way for them to do that, you know, reasonably, but not, you know, have to pass along extra stuff that they didn't realize they were getting into in the first place. And that's one thing we're looking at now, where a lot of contractors are starting to realize they had no idea what they were getting into, especially when they're dealing with companies like the Home Advisor or Angie's List.
And we found that a lot. And what's crazy is it's not specific to the home services industry. It happens in insurance. It happens in financial services. It happens in photographers and videographers. And so as we kind of went through this, we started delineating back down to your problem of, how do I pay for a $70 lead? It may be a $10,000 roofing job. You know, you'd pay that every day of the week if it was guaranteed. Yes. Everybody would.
Oh, of course.
And so, you know, you'd probably pay, you know,
I'd pay twice that.
Yeah,
exactly.
It still makes sense because you write it back into your business cost. But it's when you start missing the opportunities, because it's not just the money that's gone, it's your time. It's the bad experience that customer gets because you may have not met their expectations and you never could have in the beginning. Like, right. You're just not getting enough information to really make a solid decision as to whether or not this opportunity is a good deal for you. And then the customer is also not really getting a choice. Mm-hmm. In the home services industry here in Chattanooga, one of the things we found is just availability. Like, plumber, horrible to try to find a plumber to get something done, even if you've got water running down your wall right now. HVAC for us over the summer was just as bad. I mean, we went through 6 commercial HVAC vendors to get our air conditioning fixed. I mean, we dealt with an 87-degree office for almost a month because we just couldn't get people to continue to come out. And it's not necessarily their fault. They're just kind of slammed. And so how do we go about kind of separating what is a good customer and a bad customer? And so that was like the first step of what we saw that we needed to do, is to look at both sides of the equation to create the best possible value for the customer looking for a business to provide for their need, mm-hmm. and then a business trying to make money. And so that kind of rolled all the way down through, hey, we want to be the search engine for services to where I could find anybody, and it was based on availability. So now I could not have to wait. I get a response from somebody right now. Mm-hmm. And so we went all the way even further down, and we realized that this advertising cost, I want to find a single customer, is literally the most difficult thing to do. And when we ask small businesses, regardless of what they were, what is the number one thing you use for marketing? Oh, word of mouth. Well, how do you track that? I don't know. And that's like 90% of the people have no idea how to track it. Like, they just assume that it works. They just know that their people are telling other people, but they didn't understand how to build value there, how to track there. But they're still going to spend $100 to $200 a month on Facebook. And so we were like, hey, what is a good outcome from Facebook for you? Well, I got more likes. I think I got a couple customers in, but there's no really solid connection to see those things come in through a Facebook like or a comment or a share and then turn that into a customer. We just assume that it all works. And so that's where what we do completely kind of changes the way that people look at digital advertising.
We've got a question coming in from Sarah Jennings, who says, what is the best way to research a contractor?
You want to take that one since you're the contractor?
Well, you know, so for us, what we recommend to people is, you know, it's kind of like what they do on the Home Advisor commercials. Mm-hmm. You know, you ask people that you know. I mean, that's going to be the people that are going to give you the most honest answer. People that you know that that might be a homeowner, and just put it out to your friends. Hey, who was a good plumber? Have any of you had a plumber that you've used that you would recommend to somebody? Because a recommendation is so much more valuable than a review. And so when you say, yes, this person came out, he showed up on time, those are the things that helps push that along, because you have a relationship with me. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if I say that I'm going to recommend this person and I will get you in touch with them, then that carries not just the weight of that person's reputation, but it carries the weight of my reputation too.
It's brokering of trust.
It is brokering of trust.
This is where I get goosebumps talking about our particular product. So you probably read our website, because the quote that you just said is on our website. Referrals and recommendations are more valuable than reviews. Reviews can be bought. You're 10 times more likely to post a negative review than a positive review. So we're really getting this completely skewed view of.
You're getting one extreme or the other
every single time. And so what we wanted to do was actually base it off transactions. And if I know you, I'm only ever going to refer you to somebody if I like you. If I don't like you, it's dead air. It's silence. I'm never going to go out and, start proselytizing negative information about you, because
you might not want to harm me, but you might not want to help me either.
Right. So we wanted to track the referrals. And then the other thing is, it's kind of hard to get on Facebook or call up all your friends and be like, hey, who's the person you used to fix your roof? You may not even know that they got a new roof or they got a plumber. I mean, it's gathering that information is super difficult. Mm-hmm. And so what we did is we integrated that into our app. I can now look at all of my friends and say, I need a plumber. And it's going to list the plumbers that all of my friends have used and how many times they've been used. And then I can click on their profile and be like, holy cow, this guy's, got 80% positive reviews on everybody who's ever done anything with him. I probably want to contact him. And then the cool part is that your friend who used him, that you clicked on the link, will get paid for that review or for the referral. So now, instead of Home Advisor and all these people out in Wall Street or these big companies making money, we keep the money here local. So it's your friend who's referring, their friend and extending their trust to a business is the one making the money. And the business is not only going to be able to directly pay their biggest advocates, but they keep that money local, which in, the case of like a burger joint means that customer is more than likely to come back and spend even more money.
All right, we're going to come back with our guest, Arron Welch, with Whirly. That's whirly.com. Please just hang on through the break, and we'll be back to answer any more of your questions, and we'll get in this further with We've Got You Covered Radio, brought to you by Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, 423-800-7752.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Ooltewah High School students were kept on lockdown after reports say a social media threat was made. School resource officers investigating a bizarre case out of Fort Oglethorpe where a teacher says that a student was growing marijuana in her basement, which she doesn't have access to because of her debilitating back problems. She reportedly told the police that she allowed the student to park his motorcycle in her garage, not knowing what he was doing down there. An 18-year-old high school student was arrested after a brawl at Central High School. Reports say he was taken to the Hamilton County Jail for processing. Reports say the school SRO had to call for backup after a fight broke out between at least 3 students and a parent. Chattanooga police investigating reports of a shooting from Friday night on East 14th Street. Reports say it happened around 6:45 in the evening. The Violent Crimes Bureau is on the case. Russell Stroud, Chattanooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Let's face it, Old Faithful isn't as faithful as it used to be. Constant repairs are a hassle and can rack up quick in money and time. Landers McClarty Ford can fix that. Right now, you can get a 2016 Ford Focus, 34,000 miles, only $11,491. A 2017 Chevy Spark with only 17,000 miles for less than $12,000. A 2015 Volkswagen Jetta with less than 21,000 miles for $11,991. Yeah, browse their entire inventory of new and new-to-you cars, trucks, and SUVs online at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com. Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne. If you can't find your next perfect ride, they'll go find it for you. Big city selection, small town prices, friendly service, and top dollar for your trade. The savings are waiting and only a short drive away, so what are you waiting for? Get started with your personalized shopping today at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com. When it comes to family, I leave nothing to chance, including our financial future. I go to Michael Levy. He's local, takes time to know me, and helps me plan for our future. Don't put your financial future on hold. Call Michael Levy, 779-7755.
Join Nooga Radio and the Gridiron Gang live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks at 10 North on the North Shore. We're talking all things high school football. There's a specialty brew or refresher weekly inspired by the game of the week. Sweet treats, extended hours all season long, and we're pet friendly. Portions of all proceeds support local schools and educational scholarships, as well as after-school programs. It's football time in Tennessee. Join us every Thursday live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks, 10 North, your North Shore neighborhood living room.
Now, Rick wants you to buy on U.S. Gold American coins. Are you tired of making 1% on your investments with the banks, even 2 or 3% at best? Now, Rick wants you to buy on U.S. Gold American coins.
Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, Brainerd Road.
Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need Amco Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. Amco Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, right here on Nooga Radio.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
Expect partly cloudy and very warm weather out there through your afternoon. Could see an isolated shower or storm, most of those staying to our north and west. Highs upper 80s. Tonight, a spotty shower, lows near 70. A few more late day showers and storms Sunday, highs lower 80s. Continued mostly cloudy through Monday. Glass Farm Nursery is now open with a big selection of trees and shrubs for fall planting, as well as big savings on mums, violas, and pansies. Open daily, closed Sundays. Glass Farm, Highway 11, 4 miles south of Trenton. And I'm Sorgene Quall, Chief Meteorologist, Patrick 4.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
There goes the neighborhood. There goes the neighborhood.
Coming back after the break. We're in the studio with Arron Welch, the CEO and founder of Worley. We are giving our rip-off report today. Just wanting to make sure that customers and contractors both are protected and make sure that everybody has as good a experience with their contractor as possible. We're brought to you by Chattanooga Roofing Contractors. That's 423-800-7752. If you have a question for us in the studio, our number is 423-800-8949. And you can also reach us on Facebook Live at Nooga Radio 92.7 FM. So welcome back, Arron. So what we're going to try to talk about now is, so what is the experience with Home Advisor and companies like that for the contractor and also for the person who's looking for a contract? One thing that people don't realize is when you're signing up with a company like this, it is, you actually have to pay to be able to be listed with these companies, and you pay a sign-up fee and you pay per referral. And there's no guarantee that the referrals are actually going to be legitimate. There's not a whole lot of recourse to get your money back if they charge you, because they have your credit card number. If they charge you erroneously, they don't give you your money back. They actually just go ahead and give you a credit. So they're still hanging on to your money. Mm-hmm. But when it really starts to get bad is when you sign up with these companies, especially somebody like Home Advisor, you're actually giving them permission to set up maybe pages, advertising pages they'll use your logo, they use your company information, but then what they do is they go in and they change your phone number, and the phone number they change it to is not your direct line. They change it to a home advisor number. Well, you might think, well, what's wrong with that? Well, when you have somebody that's going out there and looking for you specifically as a contractor, you actually are expecting them to find you, not to find the people that will take that and then sell you that lead that you might have gained on your own. But where it gets even worse is they'll sell that lead to you, and then they'll also sell that lead to 4 of your closest competitors.
Yeah, in your market.
So now you're actually helping bring other people to the table that you might have done all the legwork for already. So how does your app and your method differ from that? How do you protect not only the customer, but protect the contractor as well?
So I'm full of statistics. I've been at this for 2 years, so I've got lots and lots of data. So we found through research that 70% of small businesses don't have a website or any type of web presence. They just say, oh, I've got a Facebook page or this, that, and the other thing, or I use social media and so on and so forth. They don't actually have a web presence, which means in Google, you're relying on your Facebook to get linked. Mm-hmm. Or in some cases, if you're a home advisor customer, they just create this little snippet profile that's got your information. And then when Google goes and searches the internet, the top hit is them and it looks like you. And the other thing that happens is these big home services companies, and there's another company called Podium, what they'll do is they'll grab your Google profile, like the company profile that Google creates for you that has like your hours of operation, that has your phone number, and then they get control of that, which is now how they're coming back and trying to sell you access to your online reviews through Google. And so it's like, holy cow. So when we talk to small businesses, one of the first questions we ask is, what does your web presence look like? We're not exactly a digital marketing company. We're kind of like the people that hide behind the scenes. Everything that our company is built on is about getting outcomes and results that are beneficial to every person who's involved in the transaction. Sometimes that means we make money. Sometimes it means we don't. We actually make things up in volume. Our mission statement, which is kind of the thing that is driving everything that we do, is to help others, give back, and share the love. Kind of sounds really interesting when you talk about it, but when we look as that being the filter for everything that we do, it means that we don't do MLM strategies. We don't kind of support those things because they don't benefit everybody in the transaction equally. We won't make a business pay for something that was obviously fraudulent. Like, we will eat it, and we will be the first persons to own up to it because we want to get data so it doesn't happen again. And so our whole company has been built off not only creating value from the transaction, but just creating value in general. 1 day a week, every employee we have is required to go work somewhere else. It's the weirdest thing ever that you would think of. But when we started as a startup, we couldn't find people. Like, there's just no talent in Chattanooga. And so as we start pulling all this talent into Chattanooga, we're pulling it away from other startups, which may have good ideas. It may be people who need a website and so on and so forth. But if those people can come to our company and request to get help, our employees have a day that they can go spend to do it. They can get paid by other people so long as it benefits our company. So we really looked at the value that we bring to the entire community as a whole different way of doing it than Home Advisor and some of these other companies. And that's why we felt that we're so different.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're requiring your employees to go work somewhere else, we're hiring roofers all the time, so
they can go work on their tan.
So if they can nail shingles and carry bundles of shingles up a ladder, we've got something for them that'll work out quite well.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because one of the things that I love just helping random people. I've gone to split wood. Yeah, I've gone to help people move stuff. And literally on Facebook, people will ask, and I, as the CEO of the company, show up and help you for free. And it was, I just like doing it. It's just kind of a fun thing. I've been doing it for random smaller startups, because this is a number 5 for me. I've been through this thing a few times. So I may not necessarily tell you the best advice, but I can tell you what you absolutely should not do.
Right.
Kind of learned those bumps and bruises, got a few scars. So right. I share that information. And so for me, it's a personal mission to help people succeed. We, even with this pawnbrokers legislation, that doesn't make any sense to me, just at all. And so when we start looking at other legislation that's coming through all of our kind of elected officials. It's like, who's really standing to benefit? And so we felt as a company that if we didn't step up and define through our business operations what we wanted to see in the world, that nobody else was going to do it. And so it's another thing for people to say, oh, I don't want any socialist programs. But if a company chooses that that's how they build their business,
that's not a socialist program.
It's not at all. That's a business decision for us.
That's just an ethical business decision and how you want to operate. And you're not mandating that to anyone. You're just choosing to do business that way.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. You see a lot of people out there, whether they're contractors, whether they're just, anything from a baker to a guy that runs a bar, and you see the way they do business and you respect them for it and you want to help them and see them succeed. I mean, we've got a perfect example right now. I've got an electrician that I was using on a home remodeling project. And this guy, Shane from Rick's Electric, came out. We had tried to get multiple other electricians to come out, could not get anybody to show up. As you know, it's hard to find somebody, especially in a skilled trade, that can come out in a reasonable amount of time and give you a quote. This guy came out, he gave me a quote. And when he gave me the quote, he quoted me, it was for a bathroom remodel, and he quoted it at $1,500. And I said, well, that's fine. I mean, that's within my budget. We'll agree to the $1,500. He came out, he did the work. Then after it was done, he turned in an invoice for $1,200. And I told him, I said, wait a minute, I thought our agreed upon price was $15. He goes, yeah, but I didn't end up having to use as much time or material as what I thought. So we only did $1,200 worth of work. That's all I'm charging you for. And ever since then, anybody ever mentions
that's $300 of goodwill that he just
exactly. It's $3,000 because we've turned him on to a huge number of jobs. He's made probably, I'd say probably close to tens of thousands of dollars in the past year. And I don't know what his books are, but from the people that we've referred him to, who've now referred him, and we tell that story every time we refer him, and people are like, oh yeah, that's my guy, and now other people are referring him, and, and we'll keep referring him, and, and we don't have to go out there and say, write him reviews all the time. I've never written him a single review, but if anybody ever recommends or needs a recommendation for an electrician, I always tell them, call Shane with Rick's Electric. That guy will take care of you.
And so that is a perfect example of why we exist. So I'm going to use that and my other favorite, which is Hoff Sauce. Aaron Hoffman of Hoff Sauce is one of my friends. We've known each other since like 2000.
That guy he's a magician. He is the greatest man on the planet. And I don't know him personally, but that dirty dust.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Oh, well, Southern Stinger is my thing. I like it hot, and Southern Stinger, I had to bend some elbows to get some.
Hey guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, go and look up Hoff Sauce.
Hoff.
Yeah, this is the greatest hot sauce, seasoning, dust, everything on the planet. This guy is an award winner. It's absolutely amazing. And hopefully, since we mentioned this, he can bring me a 5-gallon bucket of dirty dust down here to the studio.
I might be able to hook you up with some of that.
All right.
So this little snippet that we just did is a perfect example of why Worley exists. So, Rick's Electric has a need to get customers, and you have a need to fill, or you have a need that needs to be filled. And so how do we connect those two things together? He has money to spend. You have a desire to become a customer. Well, when we get a referral, we're like 3 or 4 steps into the sales cycle. We're not having to justify. We're not having to explain what the product is. We're ready to buy. And that's why referrals and recommendations are so much more important than just regular digital advertising. Plus everything that you just said that you did for Rick, or Shane at Rick's, right?
Yeah.
Everything you did for Shane. Does he have any way to track? Does he have any way to go and look and go, holy cow, this dude just gave me $25,000 in business over the last 6 months?
For us, I got him involved in a group called BNI. So we do have a way to track that, but that's on a very limited scale.
And so we do that in a very, very specific, very detailed way.
Right.
And so now we can see not only the business that you have sent directly to Shane, but what has happened around those referrals? Did the person you recommended, do they now recommend them to Shane? And so your rating as a person goes up significantly higher in the community because you're kicking off these secondary transactions. And so there is no data acquisition platform on the planet, not Google, not Facebook, not anybody that does that. And that's what we are trying to fix.
So let me ask you this. Say I'm not a contractor, I'm a homeowner, and I want to get involved in this. Maybe I don't have anybody to recommend right now. Is this something that I've got to download an app and keep it on my phone, and then maybe in the future I'll use it? Or because, I know some people, man, their phone's full of pictures and all kinds of other stuff from other social media. So their phone's full and they might not want to. What is the benefit to the person who doesn't quite need anything yet, but they don't really have that need for this?
So what's crazy is I tell everything through stories. I have a friend who she's like, I don't know that I'll ever use that. And her husband's like, are you kidding me? He's like, you're the perfect person to use that. She's like, I don't understand. He's like, you tell everybody about everything. Food, different places to go. You're doing it all the time. You're just not keeping track of it. So most of us make a referral or recommendation at least once a day. And so if I told you that you could make anywhere from $1 to $1,000 every time you did that, it may click off. I might want to track this a little bit.
So we're not just talking about contractors. We're talking about maybe your favorite radio station. We're talking about
your political candidate, your favorite burger. We have a company that makes software for the shipping industry. Their annual contracts are $25,000. They offer a $1,000 referral. We are working with the Chattanooga Football Club to help them find players, which has another significant referral value. So we do a lot of interesting stuff. And our promise to everyone is that we, as our mission statement, is to make that transaction the most valuable, most accurate, and most truthful transaction anywhere on the internet.
I'd much rather give a referral fee to my customers than I would to somebody who's out there kind of scamming people.
And so I've have this salting the clouds example that I always use to describe digital advertising versus us. And so the way that you work through Facebook and Google for advertising now is you're essentially paying them to salt the clouds to fill a cup in the center of a field. So you're standing there, you're thirsty, and you want your cup filled in the middle of this field. So you're relying on Facebook and Google to hit all of these clouds that in the hope that these droplets are going to fill your cup. Whereas what we're saying is, oh, by the way, we know the dude down the street who's got a water faucet. He can fill the cup and then come bring it to you. They're bringing you customers directly to you because they know that what your need is, and they know what it is that they need to fill that need. And so in what you were talking about with Home Advisor and other such thing is now it's even weirder because now there's all these cups that are in the field and then no one knows which one's actually yours. So it's like, oh, I thought I was helping out Tom at Tom's Roofing, but
there might be 5 of them with my logo on
exactly,
it, but only one belongs to me.
Yeah, and then they're like half filled, so you're only going to get half the money because Home Advisor's taking the other half. Like you just made my example even better.
Yeah.
So that we saw that and we're like, there are so many things wrong with this particular industry and the way that these transactions happen and then the value that can be created. And we were like, we have to do this. And so we spent the last 2 years making it better and better. And in October, it finally gets to come out and play in the real world.
Well, I tell you what, if you're a consumer or even a contractor and you're using someone like these, Home Advisor, Angie's List, all this, go out and check out their actual reviews. Now, go to Consumer Reports, go to the Better Business Bureau, check them out. There is a site out there called Consumer Affairs. Our recommendation would be to be wary of any information that you get from them. They actually are not a nonprofit and they are not a government entity. They are actually a for-profit entity. And surprise, surprise, they actually get paid by the people they're posting reviews for. So not surprising, places like Home Advisor, Angie's List, all those have thousands of dollars that or thousands of positive reviews and very little negative ones. Whereas if you go to the Better Business Bureau, they're averaging over 1 negative review a day. And I know for a fact that I believe in California, Angie's List and Home Advisor both have cases pending against them in Superior Court. So,
which is insane. These are people that you're putting your trust in, and they're the ones that are in court because they've broken your trust.
Yeah, I know they got downgraded from the Better Business Bureau down to an A- rating now, and there's nothing but negative reviews. How they still have an A- rating, I do not know.
Money.
All right, so when does this app launch, and how can people get started using it?
So I actually fixed the web address right there. So we have been in private beta for the last month. We've got 103 people that are participating all across the United States, 80 of which are businesses. And the reason it's not out sooner is because we asked those people, how many people are you going to bring onto the platform the day that you sign up? And we went from 103 to like 1,400 people would be the first day. We have other entities that are coming on that are bringing tens of thousands of people. So we had to change the way we were going to push this thing out into the world because we don't want to fall flat on our face or kind of drop what our customer service experience is going to be like. So we're doing this slow incremental rollout. And so now during Startup Week, which is the 3rd week of October, we're going to launch it at the same time that we announced it last year. And people will be able to download it. We do lunch and learns. We do beer 30s. So as we go throughout the next couple of weeks, if you follow our Facebook page, you'll be able to see the times for those. You can sign up. We have limited space, but we open it up to anybody. So anybody can come in. You can learn how it's going to, help your business. And it's also like free B&I. So people can come in. We spend 30 minutes, talking about what it is we do, how we can help you fix your specific problems. And then, hey, by the way, have some beer and food on us, and then meet with other people.
You did say beer and food, right?
Beer and food.
Okay, and that's for contractors.
It's for pretty much anybody who can actually get a ticket.
That's specifically for me and my company. Is right? Is what you're saying? That sounds like a great concept. I mean, especially when you can start taking the monetary incentive out from the third party. That is there basically just to, I guess in a way, say vulture off of whatever's laying on the ground. So,
so when we look at digital advertising as a whole, not just these companies, but all of them, it's as though there's like a wall in between your customers and you, and they want you to pay to open the door to go through. And so we're like, forget that. Let's just let everybody talk to each other. And then we're like charging you for your cell phone access.
Dylan, what do you got?
We've got Constance Giles saying that she actually used Angie's List, and she's saying that she would never use them either, that they do take people's money, and they now use Thumbtack and stay busy with them as well as Google Business.
So Thumbtack is an interesting thing, and because what happens is you can bid to get you bid to put a quote in. Mm-hmm. You can put your quote in, but if your quote is not accepted, you get your money back. So you don't get your money back like onto your credit or debit card, but it goes back into your account, and so you can keep recycling the money. So that's actually a lot more fair.
That's a way of doing it. Does sound a lot more fair. Yeah.
And so those are one of the companies that we actually will play nicely with.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the information. Again, this is Arron Welch. He's with Worley.com. That's www.woorly.com. You can go in there, check it out. Also check them out on Twitter, myworley, and on Instagram, myworley. So thank you for joining us again today. This is Scott Schrader with Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, bringing you We've Got You Covered Radio right here on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM. Please stay tuned. Join us next week where we'll cover our next topic, and feel free to send us any messages on Facebook, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you.
Chattanooga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
Ooltewah High School students were kept on lockdown after reports say a social media threat was made. School resource officers investigating a bizarre case out of Fort Oglethorpe where a teacher